us have a much deeper and richer engagement with our customers. And we already have reached out to 2.5 lakh customers. And we are running it both on the digital as well as the non-digital platforms.
Well, that's great. I recognize that we're running up to time, and I've been bringing in some of the questions that have been coming in into the conversation throughout. But perhaps just one last question, and I'll throw it to DJ. I think we've been talking about. I think you mentioned, DJ, sort of a view of the evolution of this industry. That certainly. There will come a point where we all of our clients will be in the digital world. That will take time. We need to start approaching it now in order to get there and be addressing those needs. But how do you see the, I think someone referred to it as microfinance 2.0. I don't know whether it's 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, but where we are. But how do you see the microfinance institution of 5 years from now, 10 years from now, in terms of digitization?
John, I think it's a very interesting question to tell you that how microfinance institution will look like 5-10 years down the line in digitization. I think all the microfinance institution 10 years down the line will look like a fintech company today. Of today's fintech company, but more, as Sweta mentioned, with more robust client protection principles around, more robust and more focused design for the requirement of the client, more flexible approaches inbuilt in terms of the repayment, in terms of supplying the loan, more accurate and in time processes, in place. I think that is how they will look like. In terms of the processes are concerned, I think the biggest challenge all of us are going to face is the cultural shift within the organization, in terms of training our manpower, processes, moving from a very, very high touch model to a low touch model, or a no touch model. Maybe I don't know when, but someday. I wish that there would be a no-touch model coming in, but I think 5 to 10 years in a medium term, I think I could definitely say that from a very high-touch model, we all will be pushed to move to a low-touch model, bring down the costs, control the costs by bringing more efficient technological interventions, and more efficient, underwriting, disbursement, and collection processes. Like it can be 24 hours disbursement. Today you have RTGS available. People can demand a loan at whatever time, and you can still deliver them. So those things definitely is going to come, and it will be better for the people. But yes, as everybody mentioned, the risks around these digital transactions, it is all going up every day. There are so many frauds happening around digital transaction. The people are trapping by calling somebody, getting their password, getting their ATM pin, doing a lot of these frauds and all. But I think eventually the systems will also evolve to take care of these kind of risk management matrices, and also the people, the education around people around digital transactions and the safety of digital transactions will also be taken care of. And as we are talking about, yes, the technology definitely, if you have a smartphone today, you have so many things are available. But let us not forget that in India also, while there are still 50% people don't have that smartphone, and only 10% of the population use that internet smartphone. The rest are not using. So we will have to rethink the technology, maybe the technology to go with more feature phone facilities that they can still do transactions with feature phones, not necessarily very high end sophisticated smartphone technologies. Basic technology to make their life easy. If that works for them, they will certainly adapt it, with all the with the caveat that the security concerns are taken care of and their protection concerns are taken care of. But if these two things are taken care of, I think you will see much larger MFI fintech companies going forward.
No, fantastic. Thank you, DJ, and conscious of the time, I think that's a great wrap up. I really appreciate all of your participation, Satish, DJ, Christian, Shweta. I think it's been a very robust discussion. I look forward to continuing these discussions. Hopefully we'll be present at the Inclusive Finance India Summit in person next year, and look forward to the chance of meeting all of you in person at that time. But thank you all for your participation and for the questions that have been coming in that we've incorporated into the conversation. I think it's been a very good conversation.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Shweta. Thank you, Satish.
Thank you, John.
Vijay.
Thank you, Kristen. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. And somebody needs to thank John, I suppose. So on also behalf of the panelists and of course Access, thank you so much, John, for all your efforts in putting together this panel. I know you reached out to everybody with your questions and made efforts to prepare. Thanks everyone for joining in, and we hope you will. Now you can, of course, you will log out of this link, but we request the speakers as well to please do join from your participant link that we have provided you for the next part of the summit. We have a great evening planned. We are using the benefit of being virtual to actually stretch the day into late evening. But thank you so much for this really engaging and interesting discussion.
Thank you, Radhika.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'd like to mention to everyone who is logged in this hall, which is Hall A, that the track, the MFI track, which was being hosted here, has been concluded with this panel. So we request you all to kindly move on to the other hall, Hall B, where a parallel track is going on. And at 5:40, we will start a series of very exciting fireside chats. There are 3 fireside chats that are planned this evening until 8:30. So we hope that you will all probably have a short tea and coffee break and then join us into the other hall again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
AU Bank, bringing ease of banking at your fingertips. AU Bank, chalo aage बढ़ें.
Presenting 2 new tech initiatives in the retail microfinance sector. Sahyog 2.0 app to ensure data security and efficient services with newly added features like eKYC, geo-tagging and instant credit verification. And cashless payments of EMI via any bank UPI for easy and safe transactions. All this with an aim to enhance last mile efficiency and delivery for the microfinance entrepreneurs.
मुस्काने जो दबी हुई थी चेहरों पर वो खिल गई है अब पैरों पर पंख लगे हैं मंजिलें भी मिल गई है घर घर हम पहुंचे ऐसे जैसे कोई अपना हो जो पूरा ना हो सके अब ना वैसा कोई सपना हो We are a bank of smiles. We are a bank of smiles. We are a bank of smiles. We are a bank of smiles.
So I have to speak in 5-6 languages here. I think all the partners are from different parts of the country. The journey of Ananya, I can't talk without touching the journey of FWWB. Friends of Women's World Banking, when we started 30 years back, so June only, 30 years back, 11 students said that we will work. Even though we are an affiliate of Women's World Banking, we will concentrate on low-income household women. And of course, the self-employed women, they are forming 80 to 90% of the workforce in India. So they don't have access to finance. So we have to work for that. I still remember that we shared the space with old Seva. I don't know how many of you had seen the Seva. And graciously, Seva Bank had given a space for us, even though it was a storeroom. That is where Friends of Women's World Banking started. And I still remember the first donor when they came. So I was up doing the administrative work as well as running the organization. There were only 2 people. So I still remember Kathy Sridhar. I could see, she said that Kathy Sridhar is the person who can give you some money to start the work. So I could see Kathy Sridhar coming, the head and then the nose and this thing. So I was wondering how she looked like it. And I think the first set of trainings we did with women on collectivization and access to finance. SG was coming up that time, was with a grant that a lady from United States gave us. So throughout the history of FWWB, nurturing was done by different women. And yesterday I was telling you, the culmination and recognition of Indian financial sector happened in the place where we had a celebration yesterday. So that is where the meeting, we had an audacity called Vimal Jalan, 11. And all the CMDs of the banks came because Vimal Jalan was coming. So we told everybody, and then that is the place where with Women's World Banking we started recognizing the fact that even though there were only 14 organizations which were working with financial sector, have to come, and the idea about Sadhan was born there. So Sadhan actually owes its origin to Ahmedabad. So, and the next meeting we had was in Seva Bank, and then we decided to set up Sadhan. So as Ilavan says, it is the women finance capital of India, because Seva was there, and Friends of Women's World Banking, which was working with partners like you, was there. And we were actually borrowing money from formal financial sector and repaying money like the way our customers were doing it. We were also repaying money on time. Then we believed in collectives and cooperatives, but somehow there was a change because the growth was much higher, and then people have to expand, and the cooperative laws were different. It's a state subject. So the microfinance sector emerged. So the first time when we were working, all of them were development institutions. And it is only thanks to the regulation that has come from RBI, then we became MFI, NBFC MFIs. But I was sharing with some of the partners, the debate was very hot in those days when they were in the development mode. So we used to discuss, okay, we have to work with migrants, and we have to work with Dalits, and then we have to work with what kind of products and services we have to do. That debate I miss now, because the kind of a debate that used to happen, and people used to spend lots of time on that, it doesn't happen. Now I feel that it is how to raise money, and then who are the investors, and then whether they are social investors or not, and what do they expect, then it stops with that. So maybe that is the way things grow. But I still feel that it is important for Ananya, which has started working with women collectives, and then it inherited the philosophy of FWWB. The debate should come forward. I think it is time for us to discuss. And then quite concerned that the kind of emerging leadership which we saw, again it has gone down. So we have to work out how women can become leaders in managing money, whatever form it is, and how you use them as a kind of instruments in maintaining the repayment rate is very important. So somehow that is disappearing, so I would like to flag it. And regarding the history of Ananya, my board was divided into two. So one sect said we should not become a NBFC, other said commercial people from the commercial world, they said we have to do. It took us about 2 years to decide whether it's worth setting up Ananya or not. And we had lots of debate on that in the board meeting and all. And ultimately we had decided that is only because our partners are becoming NBFCs. So it is important to play that role. So when we set it up, it was fine. We passed it on. And then none of us were expecting the Andhra crisis. So the crisis came. And it just had a big hit on Ananya. Because as you know that Hyderabad was the mecca of microfinance. And then almost 80% of our borrowings were in, lettings were in with partners there. So, but it took us about 2-3 years. As an institution, we have decided that first we have to honor the commitment to the lenders. So some of the lenders like Citibank and all wanted the money immediately because they wanted to pull out themselves from Indian microfinance sector. So all the institutions, in spite of having 2 years loan period, we prepaid all the loans, and then we thought it's important for them to have the confidence in microfinance. So, and then of course, some of the bankers who had lent 120 crores and 140 crores and all, they said that you just tell us that you are defaulting, we will just reschedule the loan. So my board, I think I still remember, the surprise came because the board chairman was from SIDBI and he said no. So we said maybe we are right. So we said no for restructuring the loan. And we were the only ones who paid the money on time, and then we honored all those things. But we have to thank the non-AP partners of Ananya that time, who without getting a loan, serviced the old loan that was there in their books. So if the money wouldn't have come, we wouldn't have honored the debt to the banks. So about 500 crore we have returned to the banks during the time. And it was always inflow from the partners and then outflow to the banks. And there was nothing left for us to run the organization or acquire new clients or service new loans to our own partners. It went on like that. So, and we realized, and most of us didn't know that running a company is such a tough thing, because it was very easy to do it in a non-profit mode. So we asked, they said that unless you bring in capital, you just can't get out. That time, IDBI chairman, who was ex-chairman of SIDBI, who knew our work very well, IDBI chairman, he said, he took the first plunge and then said that he will give the equity. So, but the only thing is, they say, took it as OCCP. I said, whatever the form you give. And then also match it with a loan. So it helped us to have a kind of a breather to get out. And then Women's World Banking came. And then, of course, Gojo came. So like this, in this kind of a meeting in Vietnam, I happened to sit next to him. I told him, give us money. So he said, it moved very smoothly. So I didn't know that, I didn't take him very seriously, but Gojo is a major investor in Ananya now. And of course the C4, that time it was ICO only, so I didn't know only when this thing. So of our work, of FW's work in agriculture helped us to bring ICO credit. So that is how Ananya grew. Now I think they are getting money from everywhere, and then they kind of bad days are over. So we turned it around and then we left so that they can manage. But I have only one request, Mr. Bhatt. The brand of FWWB was having lots of issues being discussed openly and keeping women at the center of all the services we have provided. I think it is important for Ananya to continue doing that, keeping women at the center, because the microfinance sector, Indian microfinance sector, owes its growth to women's repayment. And how they did it, we don't know. And then it is not that there was a surplus that came because we have given one loan. It is actually the attitude of the women to honor the kind of a debt was something very unique. I think we have to recognize that. And FWB still works with the collectives of women, but we find that the impact of credit alone is not enough. So it is important to work on Credit Plus activities. It is very critical because credit alone is not helping. And particularly for women, because they are ill-equipped with education and skills, it is important to help them to make additional credit available to enhance their status as well as income sources. So with that, I will wish Ananya the very best. So don't forget the women and the collectives, and then you have to grow with them. Yeah, bye.